KD to New York might be a lot closer than you may think, but is it the right move for the Knicks? Hit that rock. So before we get started, make sure to like, subscribe to the channel. Make sure to hit the dark notification bell to get each and every notification for each and every video I put out there. It's your boy G. Malaysia Knicks. Appreciate you guys. God bless. So Shams to New York, according to Shams Charania of ESPN. He doesn't talk like that. I don't know why I did that. But according to Shams Charania of ESPN, there have been several teams that were interested in trading for Kevin Durant at the trade deadline. That includes the Golden State Warriors, Minnesota Timberwolves, the Houston Rockets, Miami Heat, San Antonio Spurs, and the New York Knicks. Now, Shams Charania came out on the Pat McAfee show and stated that Kevin Durant could definitely be traded this offseason. There's been a lot of noise regarding the Suns looking to move on from that failed experiment in Phoenix. And again, they want to keep Booker. Booker's an offensive beast. They drafted him. But Kevin Durant has definitely been a guy that's been rumored to be on the move this off season. Now, when you look at some of the other teams, it is interesting that the Knicks have been included, but you look at some of these other teams, and look, he didn't want to get traded to the Golden State Warriors. Obviously, Draymond Green is still there. You know, he kind of denied them, rebuffed them at the trade deadline. That's why they traded for Jimmy Butler. You have other teams like the Miami Heat, who I think they want to trade off Jimmy Butler to get a piece like Kevin Durant. Now that Jimmy Butler's gone, they're probably going to rebuild that team. Or try to, I don't want to say, they kind of retool it, but not make any major trades. I don't see Kevin Durant going over to Miami Heat. Even though, again, it's still possible. Minnesota Timberwolves is an interesting one because they need the offense. Again, they one of the better offensive teams in the league, but they need the offense. They're one of the best defensive teams in the league, but they need that offense to pair alongside Anthony Edwards. Is Kevin Durant the right guy? Who they trading off now? Obviously, they trade off Cat to clear up space to re-sign guys like Naz Reid to extend him. They didn't want to be bogged down with Cat's contract for the next, 3-4 years, making around 50 plus, or around 50, around 50 plus. I think he's making 51, 53 this season, if I remember. But would they want to trade for KD and pair alongside Anthony Edwards? Anthony Edwards, high energy guy. I think he's a guy that demands a lot of his teammates. Kevin Durant on the older side, it's more of a, I wouldn't say finesse player, but that's his game. With the temperaments work, does he fit inside that, that offense was kind of trash garbage. He got some decent pieces. I like Nickeil Alexander-Walker, but, he has a big game the other night, but they need more on offense. So that's definitely a viable spot or place that Kevin Durant could go. Some other teams, San Antonio Spurs, does Kevin Durant want to go there and play his final years trying to build up Wembayama and be a first-round exit? I don't know, but he definitely would be a nice pairing alongside Wembayama. Could space the floor, could feed Wembayama. Doesn't have to be the number one guy every night. Help Wembayama develop some type of freaking go-to moves. I know Wembayama talented is whatever, but your boy is ashy with them go-to moves. And then the other teams, Houston Rockets, they tried to trade for Kevin Durant last year. Ume Udoka is a big fan of his, but the front office rebuffed him. Now, given where the Rockets are in the Western Conference, it will be interesting to see, okay, is there a play they could – is there a way for them to take that next step? Now, I definitely think Jalen Green could definitely be on the move. Athletic wing who could play, but he just hasn't really reached – I don't want to say reached the peak. It's a little bit too soon to say, but I think that they see him as a budding star, but they're probably looking at like, look, we could trade him off for Kevin Durant, get the best years out of Kevin Durant, get a guy who could take us over the top. Jalen Green, talented player, but not necessarily the most efficient of players, dynamic, but is he going to be the guy to help take you over to take you over the top at this point? I don't know. And I'm not saying that the Rockets look at the Western Conference is wide open, because it's not, or like as they could usurp, say, OKC in the Western Conference, but they've definitely shown to be an up and coming young team. currently at the number 2 spot in the Western Conference, way behind OKC, but in the number 2 spot, definitely having a great year. So KD could definitely be on the move to the Houston Rockets if Udoka can convince the front office to trade for him. And with Kevin Durant's contract, I think he's making $51 million this year. He only has one more contract, one more year after this. So it's definitely a contract you look at and you say, we could rent this guy and then move on, right? And when you look at the Knicks are an interesting piece because the Knicks, again, it's all about what are they going to do. Excuse me for that. I'm still under the weather. I think I have like a cold, or I don't know if it's a cold. Like I have these double colds or whatever. But I think with Kevin Durant, with the Jalen Brunson years, the Knicks are going to try to mix and match and trade and move pieces around to find what fits before they truly become a second apron team, especially once Jalen Brunson gets out of those Jalen Brunson is helping out New York years. And when you look at Kevin Durant, the positives, again, be able to get out of that contract in a year or so. I think if you trade for, say, a Cat, it'll be straight up. I don't think you have to give up many assets, even though the Suns they'll probably lean towards the team that can give him some assets, right? You need a big contract to kind of match KD's. And so they're looking at, we're giving an expiring contract, and you're burdening us with who? Probably want some pieces alongside that. Even though you could argue that, say, a Cat who's making 53 million or whatever, and that escalates for the next few seasons in San Antonio, lesser market in terms of media presence and whatnot, he probably could thrive there, and he might thrive with a Booker. Even though I would argue that it's actually becoming really interesting how teams and regimes are kind of building around Booker these past few years. He's had like 13 billion coaches, several GMs and front offices, and they have not gotten it right. They gotten close, but they have not gotten it right in terms of getting a championship and having the sustained dominant success that's really built around Booker's talent. But again, the positives that, KD's contract does come off the season or after next season. As a number 2 guy, KD's still having some good numbers. His defensive numbers are not great. He's just not that guy anymore. But you're not going to be begging or demanding a player of his offensive caliber and his value to really be putting out defensively, right? You're going to get guys around him. But Kevin Durant, 26.6 points a game, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, 53% from the field, 43% from 3, 84% from the stripe, 5.3 win shares a game. But this is for a Suns team that's eating straight ass this season. Again, that experiment with with Kevin, Devin Booker, and Bradley Beal has flopped Garbaggio to the fullest. It is not working. So that's why they're looking to trade off. Kevin Durant in New York, he's proven that he could play, obviously, with the New Jersey Nets, he's shown that he could play for the big moment, even though that's some years ago. Again, he's getting older, 36 years old. Golly, so we dying out here. I shouldn't say it. We're getting old out here. Let me say, but when I watch Kevin Durant this season, some games, man, he's had some moments. No longer number 1 guy, and I'm not. Jalen Brunson's number 1 guy. But Kevin Durant's the same guy that last year was complaining about touches and not touches, complaining about the offense and blah, blah, blah. Like, bro, you're a good offensive player, but are you number 1 anymore? Let's be honest. We look at the numbers. But is he a guy that I give you the ball and he's impacting the game? He can control the game, control the pace. Look, Kevin Durant's one of the best forwards of all time. I would probably say top 5 most talented forwards of all time. Maybe even top 3. But is he a guy that I pair alongside Jalen Brunson? If it's OG, McCall, and I trust them to take me to the Eastern Conference Finals versus the Celtics? I think in a series, KD might put on and have one of those ridiculous KD series. But this Knicks team is really... I think the height of success during Tom Thibodeau's reign was getting guys, hard-nosed guys who complement each other well, right? I think that us trying to go Hollywood this season has hurt us, right? Chemistry still has to be built. We don't really have a defensive identity to lean on. When times get rough, we shoot more. Hey, we're down by, we shoot more. Versus, hey, let's get a stop. Let's get a rebound. We're down by 7 with 2 minutes left to go. We're in this game. get 2 stops. Dante's gonna hit a big three. Jalen's gonna hit a big three. Those guys will cover the offense. Everybody else cover the defense. KD, I'm not sure he's gonna buy into that. He's gonna be part of this Hollywood move by the Knicks that's flopping. And I just don't see it working. Now, obviously, the player who have to be gone or could be gone will be Cat because the contracts match. Obviously, next year you can't do anything this year, but 11.5 million of space will be created under the first apron, given how the salary cap is moved by 10% next year. So Knicks obviously can make this trade one up, or because it's within 110% of salaries versus 125 at below the first apron. That got to do 100 million or 100%. When you're in the second apron, but the Knicks are not there. So it'll be interesting to see how the Knicks move with this in the summer with KD. I think that the first round this season is definitely going to be telling. The whole play was going to be, but the first round, if you lose first round to say the Pistons, Knicks might tear the soul up. And it'll be interesting to see that. It'll be interesting to see how they move because they made the trade for Cat. I think they made the trade with McCall with having Cat in mind. So they made this trade for McCall, gave up all these pieces, said we'll pay the Nets premium, but we're getting KD. Sorry, we're getting Cat later on for a decent price, given the fact that the Wolves will move up for his contract. They're not asking for too much. So we give up Randall and then give up Dante, which actually I think hurt us somewhat. But I think they made that trade in mind. And the fact that now that they're looking to move Cat speaks volumes. Speaks volumes to say, man, they're not convinced. And maybe others are. And I think Cat has actually had a good season this year. I think he's played a lot better than Tom Thibodeau that we've seen versus all these other years or the years he's played in Minnesota under that offense where it's just it's Anthony Edwards, pick and roll Gobert, make it happen. And Cat many times was left in the dust, even though he should have gotten better at his own decision making. But I think this year he's shown some improvement. But if they're looking to trade Cat, then golly, you made the Mikal Bridges trade prematurely? Because you did this all, I feel like an all-in thing almost, even though we're not a second apron team. You did that because you thought you were going to get Cat and you thought this was going to be better. Like, you got to have a better roadmap, a better blueprint before you make those type of trades. If you're trading Cat now, that speaks volume. To me, I think the Knicks should move in the direction of trying to trade. If you're going to trade players, now, I'm not saying trade for KD. I want to talk to the Rockets. The Knicks don't have a lot of first-round draft picks in their cash, in their piggy bank, given what they had to give up for Mikal Bridges. I want to get 2 players. I want to get a creator off the bench, and I want to get a starter or a guy who can start. I would love to talk to the Rockets and say, hey, what do you want to do with Terry Eason and such? Right? I'm looking to try to build. And look, if it means I got to trade, OG or Mikal, OG obviously would get you more because of his contract, $42 million. But then, look, the Rockets want to make a big trade. They want to move and get a big trade for us. So you're going to see domino effects maybe later on. And obviously the player that we probably want is going to be including that trade. But I need some creators. I need at least 2 players for a big contract versus getting one big player who's on the age, who's getting older, who could pop, who could get hurt again. He's played 62 games this season, which is okay. Last year was a lot better, 75. But the year before that, got hurt, only played 8 games. Not get hurt, He played, he did get hurt a lot. He actually missed a lot of games last year. He only played in 47 games last year. The year before that, 47, 55, 35. Then the year before they had the Achilles injury. So again, he's getting up there in age. And the Knicks trying to go for these guys who can give you 50, at best 60 games a year. It's getting older. It's not the direction Knicks need to be going. The Knicks need to get younger. The Knicks need to find a way to get dynamic players who are not getting playing time elsewhere and get them on the squad. And I'm looking to try to pack. It sucks because you can't. Well, we're not aggregating players, but we're not aggregating players. So it's not. But I would love for the Knicks to try to get younger. Try to get some players who can actually fit us for the short term and the long term. Now, just to be fair, let me see. If I could make a trade between the Knicks and the Rockets, I'm looking at Fanspo right now. I know there's some bootleg-ish right now, but if I'm looking at say that I can't get to the Western Conference. If I'm looking at Fanspo right now, Fanspo to make the trade, it's gonna be tough because again, you gotta wait till they make that big trade, the Rockets. But I would love a Terry Eason here, Cam Whitmore, but obviously they're gonna probably include one or two of those guys or both those guys in the trade for a star. But yeah, I'm trying to get away from trading for the doing what the early mid 2000 Knicks were doing, trading for guys who are well past or guys past their prime, who are finito, and trying to relive what we did through the 90s. That should not be the case. But yeah, just trying to look through Fanspo right now. And yeah, I could probably talk about this later. I don't want to waste you guys' time. But I'm just trying to see if we traded for like a Terry Eason, who I think is making what, 3.6 million? That's nothing. Yeah, that's absolutely nothing. Yeah, that's absolutely nothing. But yeah, we can do this later because I'm trying to just try to map out what the Knicks would have to give up to get some of these young players on the squad. Um, but yeah, I look, the Kevin Durant thing to me is just not. It's no bueno at this point. So let me know what you guys think, man. Kevin Durant to Knicks. I apologize for the tissues. Again, my nose is, as you guys see, look like I'm doing blow. But anyway, let me know what you guys think, man. Kevin Durant to the Knicks. Knicks showing interest. Cat could definitely be on the move. Did we make a mistake with this whole experiment? If we already tried to give up Kevin Durant, was this all part of the plan to get talent under Jalen Brunson for the thank you for helping us out, Jalen Brunson years. I say years. Wow, I sound like a nerd. Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments, man. I'm against this. I think we need to go younger, trade some of these contracts for younger players who are on the verge of being highly productive that can also complement this team. Especially, give us some two-way value. But let me know what you guys think, man. I appreciate you guys, man. I'll talk to you guys on the next one. It's your boy Gmo Leisure Knicks. Peace, Lou. God bless. I'll see you guys on the next one.